Hey, we're here with Austin Vicar today from Illusion of Fate and Casket Robbery. Austin, thanks for taking some time out of your day to come hang out with me and talk some music.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah.
It's funny. I saw you posted your thing with Kyle, and I was like, man, like that'd be cool to do something like that. And then you messaged me like literally like a day later. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, yeah. And I know Kyle from Battlecross, right? Doing like just going to a lot of fucking shows up in Detroit. Obviously, I don't live there, right? You and I met at Mag Bar down here in Louisville when you guys were with Convalescence and
Okay. Yep. Ignominious.
yeah, yeah,
We
that's
also played there with Abadonia a like several months later in the
yeah,
summer. That's a
yeah,
cool spot.
yeah, it's better than it was. But it's a little dive bar, dude. It's fucking great. Uh, so how do you keep up between both bands?
I guess I practice a lot. It was kind of like a lot when I joined both bands because like I had just done this uh like try out learning this other bands. I learned like their whole set list or whatever for this gig that I didn't end up getting. And then I joined Illusion of Fate. Then I learned all their songs. Then I joined Casket Robbery. Then I learned all their songs. And I filled in for a band like that same time between there was like a funk sort of band. Now with Real Humans, they're a band from Michigan, from the area. And so I just learned like so many set lists in such a short time that it was kind of stressful, but at the same time, it was fun. Uh, and I don't know. I guess I just practiced a lot and just like kept to it. I think listening is super important. There's only so much time you can practice in a day, especially with death metal drumming. It's like sports or something, like you can't play all day every day. Eventually, your body's going to hate you for that.
Yeah.
The songs over and over and over again. And I honestly don't even these days like touch the sticks till I can like listen to the song and like mentally know where like, okay, this is the part with the blast beat, this is the part with like the fast double bass and slow hands, whatever like it is, till I'm like following the song mentally like front to back completely before I even sit down on the drums and work on it. Even if I'm still playing drums a lot at the time, it's just not like the best use of my practice time to like work on a song and while I'm trying to memorize it. You know what I mean? Like those are
Yeah.
two separate things. So if you have the song memorized, it makes learning it way faster. So when I go to the gym, I'll just run like the band set. Like if we have a show coming up, when I go to the gym, I'll like listen to our set list, a couple times. Um, and then, practice it or whatever too. But just like listening, just reminding myself how the songs go. That's the main thing. I don't want to like space apart where I'm like, oh shit, that's what's next, and I go into the wrong section or whatever, which I've definitely done. So uh, that sucks, but it is what it is. So if I
Well,
listen to the songs a lot, at least it minimizes the chances of that happening significantly.
yeah, but that's part of it, all right? You're gonna make mistakes. I think all of us, right, are gonna make
Yeah,
mistakes. Uh,
absolutely.
so you just
Especially on tour, like you're so tired and like it may have been a while since you've last eaten, and you just kind of feel like shit some days. So obviously you might not play your best. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes I feel great and I'll just randomly like have a lot of brain farts or play sloppy. Other days I'll be on like 2 hours of sleep and like sick, and I just feel like I killed it. So it's a weird. I don't know like what it is, but I just try to practice so that even on my worst day, hopefully it's good enough to get by.
yeah, hopefully it's still palatable, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You're only as good as you are on your worst day.
Yeah.
So.
So let's look back, like let's start early on. What artists or people really drove you to go, you know what? Like I really want to do that because that is just fucking amazing.
Um, I like the first few extreme sort of metal bands I got into was like Black Dahlia Murder, Between the Buried and Me, uh Cattle Decapitation were probably like the first like three bands I was like, whoa, that got me into the music and stuff. But honestly, I think like a big part of it is when you go to metal shows and stuff, because it's it's a more underground like niche sort of music. So there's not like some type of barrier between you and the artist you're going to see, where like if you go to see like Taylor Swift, you're never gonna like see her walk through the crowd to buy a beer at the bar next to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which like I don't blame her. Obviously she'd be swarmed and like whatever, you know. But in death metal, you know, I met a lot of musicians who would just like, I guess, like take the time to just talk to me when I'd ask them like probably stupid annoying questions to them, you know, about their music and stuff. A lot of drummers too, especially where I was like, "How are you doing this technique or that technique?" And then they'd give me some really good advice. Like I've only had like a very small handful of drum lessons in my life, but I feel like with YouTube and just through talking to other drummers and like friends of mine, you know, friends like Kyle, just like having people like that where it can be like, "Hey, I'm working on this, like, but I noticed you do it this way, like what's up with that?" And then now I have two ways to do it maybe, or maybe I find a way I like better to do it, you know. So just I don't know, just having a the whole like community, I guess, of the underground metal world sort of like inspired. It just seemed like more obtainable. You know what I mean? Like I could do this. This is like a regular guy kind of thing who just so happens to play in this band. So it made it feel like something that was feasible, potentially. I guess it still is obviously like, you know, hard to get in the position that some of those people, you know, are in or whatever. But I don't know, just the fact that they're like more down to earth, would talk to me as a kid, um, and just give me that time of day, I guess, like means a lot. And
They were a
I
lot
try to
more
do that
humble, right?
too. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I really do think like a lot of metal musicians, I guess, are like some of the most like humble sort of people. Um, I met Terrence. We played with Suffocation and Casket Robbery a few months ago, and I met Terrence Hobb, and I like shook his hand. I was like, "Hey, man, like I really appreciate all you've done for this music. Like I probably wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you. Like none of us would be doing this kind of thing, you know. Like."
Right.
And he was just like, like we're just doing what all the other bands are doing. Like we're just out here, you know, on the road playing. And I'm just like, I was just like, well, you know what I mean? He just was just so nonchalant about it, you know. It was
Yeah.
cool. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, you know, and honestly, anyone that's like in the death metal, I feel like just for as long as someone like him has to just truly love it too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought,
And
well, you're right. I think, especially getting into it, you don't, unfortunately, right? You don't get into it because you're going to be rich and famous, right? Metallica, Slayer, etc. You get into it because,
exactly.
there's a passion, a love for it, or, not even
Right.
just a love, but like a need, right? Because after a
Right.
while, it becomes an addiction. We
Oh, yeah, for sure.
we saw Suffo with Soulfly and Battlecross in, I want to say Dayton. I think it was Dayton.
Okay,
And
cool.
I got to meet Terrence, right? And just sit there and chat with
It's
Hobbs for a
awesome.
minute. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
same.
so chill. And a lot of those like old school guys are like that, you know what I mean? Like uh I guess if you're still around at this point, they're just like in it for the right reasons. Like you said, you're not going to get rich from it. So and you know, I feel like to have the impact on music that those guys have had and not, you know what I mean? Like really like compensated, you know, half as much as artists that have like realistically no impact on their sort of music, you know.
Yeah.
uh it shows, I guess, that they're in it because they want to be in it. There's not like some ulterior motive, which it sucks that they can't, you know, make more money and stuff. Like I feel like they deserve it, but at the same time, you know, no one's like, I don't doubt their ambitions, I guess. Like I feel like their heart's always in the right place. Like they're, you know, no one's sleeping in a van because it's awesome to
Oh,
sleep
that
in a van. Like they're doing it because they
yeah,
want to, be in a fucking death metal band.
that's the truth, right? Like it living in a van is not fun.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you're down by a river, I guess.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I guess so.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. So what's let's jump at like Casket Robbery for a minute. I know, Jamie Josta's spoken very, very highly about the band. The Milwaukee Metal Fest was huge. What do you guys got going on this year, like on the horizon that you can talk about?
So we are returning to Milwaukee Metal Fest again. So we will be playing again this year. So we're super excited about that. Not many bands are coming back, so
Right.
we're really happy. We were one of the few that got to run it back again this year. We have some tours we are booking that I can't really talk about, but we do have some stuff we're setting up. Um, and then we're also working on new music too. So that's actually why I was working on that song I was talking about. We're working on this new one right now, but we got a few songs we're juggling around here. So we're gonna try to get our wrists in order and I guess make an album this year. So
Hell
and
yeah.
still tour a lot. So it should be a busy year, honestly. We're still I know we haven't been doing a lot the last few months like show wise, but we have been doing a lot of writing and sending a lot of stuff back and forth
Yeah, it's kind of
on the
hard.
computers and stuff.
It's hard to balance both those things, right? Touring and writing and
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like even like in like local bands I was in, it was hard to balance just playing like the occasional one-off local show and like writing and stuff. And we don't even all live in the same state for Casket Robbery or Illusion of Fate. So
right.
now it's like, it's all fucked up. But I guess good communication is,
Well,
key,
technology for, when I was growing up, I got a few years on you, so there was shit. I remember before there was email, you had to, if you recorded something, you sent the DAT off to someone else to listen and do their thing, and it was all going through the mail and doing all this shit.
Right, right.
Like, damn it, now with Dropbox and Google Drive and all that, it's like, oh yeah, I uploaded it. Go ahead, check it out. Like, oh shit. All right.
We'll like send each other like ideas back and forth a couple times, like in a day, potentially.
Yeah.
So uh, it works pretty good. Obviously it'd be more ideal, I guess, if we were all in the same area, but
Yeah.
you know,
It is what it is, like
right?
you're
Yeah,
making it work, right? And that's the difference is, do you want it convenient or do you want it good and to make it work? Because,
right. Yeah,
I think a lot of times you don't have both.
yeah. No, yeah, for sure. That's like the whole. Well, I joined Illusion of Fate first, but that's like what led me out to like Illusion of Fate because like when I reached, I knew Hayden. We had worked on like an internet project together called Dusk Eternal, and it was just like an instrumental black metal sort of thing. And when they're like, "Hey, we're looking for a drummer," I'm like, "If you guys are really serious about, you know what I mean, like trying to tour and do stuff, like I don't mind, you know what I mean, coming out doing the drive." And
Oh yeah.
same deal with Casket Robbery. So, um, like you said, you can kind of how do you pick your poison? I guess you want convenient or
Yep.
sometimes you gotta make that drive. I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure. So what about Illusion of Fate? What do you guys have in the works like over the next year that you can talk about?
For Illusion of Fate, we are also playing Milwaukee Metal Fest. So I'll be doing double duty for that, and so will our bass player Brian. He also plays in Casket Robbery as well. For Illusion of Fate, we just dropped a new music video and song, Visions of Sunless Skies. You can find it on the internet where in the places where music usually is. Trying to set up a tour. We're gonna have an album come out, so we're trying to get that out, push that really hard. Try to play as many festivals, shows as we can. In the short term, we have two weekend runs coming up. Our first weekend run is with Pit Lord. They're from Iowa. They're a barbecue themed death metal band. It's a bass player and a drummer, or I'm sorry, it's a bass player and a guitar player. They both do vocals. They have no drummer, and they have a grill on stage, and that's their drummer. And they have programmed drums. And it's kind of like Putrid Pile or something. If you've seen that guy before, he's awesome too. Like they rip so hard where you're like, this is, and they're wearing like the barbecue, like
The aprons and shit.
the aprons and whatnot. It's just hilarious. Like you look at them, you're like, what the hell? And then they start playing, and it's so ripping. You're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So we're doing a weekend run with them in Minneapolis, Nebraska, and Iowa. The next weekend, Illusion's doing a weekend run with our friends in Yotuma. That one's going Indianapolis, Lansing, and Ohio. And we're actually playing with Ignominious in Ohio. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys again.
Where at in Indy are you
Uh,
guys playing? Black Circle?
yeah, we are. It's like I think it's like a local sort of festival or like regional sort of like one day. There's a bunch of bands on it. It looks pretty. It looks like it's gonna be a pretty good time. We played
Oh,
there in Casket Robbery over the summer, and it's a cool venue.
I'll have to check that out because it's like
Oh, sweet.
Indy's, I don't know, 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours from me. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah, it's a pretty easy
Oh
drive.
yeah.
All right.
I love going to Indianapolis too. Growing up, I was a big like Peyton Manning fan. Just being a football fan. As a Lions fan, you have to have like a side team because they
Yeah.
were so bad for so long. Which is awesome that they're sick now. It's been awesome to watch. But either way, I always like going to Indianapolis for that reason,
I know.
just because of that.
What do you think about that, right? Like I've been a Lions fan my whole life, and to see them actually doing something is like, well,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. It's been incredible too, and that game they beat Stafford. I had a gig that night at the sanctuary, and so I watched like the first quarter. I basically played during the second quarter, took my shit down during halftime, and then watched like halfway through the third quarter to the end at the sanctuary while Centauri was playing. So I'm just watching it to this awesome death metal band. I'm like, all right, this is a really weird way to watch a football game, but I'm into it.
hell yeah. Yeah.
So it was a very memorable like experience. You know what I mean? Like experience. And I'm a big Stafford fan too. I loved Stafford when he was on the Lions, but it was awesome to watch the Lions kind of like slay their demons, beat the old quarterback.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
so many people
it was
talk
cool.
so much shit about Stafford when he was on the team. It was like, Stafford sucks. Get rid of him, and they get rid of him, and then he goes and wins the ball, and it's like
Right. Yeah.
he doesn't suck. He's a good
Right.
fucking quarterback. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We didn't build a solid team that, for so long they were like pick that one person and that's our
Right.
team. Shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, because like they had some good skill players. So people are like, oh, well, he had this guy and that guy. They did have weapons, but they never had a good offensive line. And like, that's why this year's Lions are awesome because they have the best offensive line in football. Like that is more important than who your quarterback is, than who your skill players are. Like if you can just run the ball and even, or just protect your quarterback, you don't need an amazing quarterback to win. I think Jared Goff's really good though, but yeah, I don't think he's like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL
No, I
by any
agree.
means.
He's good,
So
but not like, oh my God, he's
yeah,
so awesome. Uh,
fucking awesome behind that offensive line,
for
like
sure.
so
Well,
he
and
kills it.
you look at, Dan Campbell who came from the 0-16 team to be doing this, it's like for him, it's like retribution. Like here,
Oh yeah,
we got our ass kicked for so long. Like I'm actually doing what needs to happen with the team, which,
yeah,
is
absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah, I've just been trying to soak it all in. I've been listening to a lot of like 97.1. Just like I don't know. I want to get sick of hearing about the Lions. Like I'm so excited. You know what I mean? I'm like I'll just take as much Lions playoff hype right now as I can handle.
Yeah, I think we all do. It's my favorite thing is scrolling social media and like Lions win, Lions this, Lions that. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
hell yeah. And it's all good, positive stuff. So I'll take it too.
Cool to see him on like national media outlets too, where it's like you see something good about the Lions coming from ESPN's Facebook page, not like some like local.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the free press is going to obviously say good stuff about the Lions, which is cool. Like, but it's just cool to see like they've really caught like a whole national buzz sort of behind the team. They are like the ultimate underdog and the probably team that the most people would root for in the Super Bowl, I would guess if they went
Yeah.
just for that alone.
I just saw a thing that was like, people rooting for the Lions, and it was a map of the US, and it was like damn near every state was the Lions. I'm like, hell,
Right.
it's hard not to, root for, because for so long they were the underdogs,
Right. Right.
Lions and the Browns fighting for who's the worst team in NFL.
Yeah. Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's basically been the story of my life as a Lions fan until about this year. So
Yeah. Um, so you guys are Illusion of Fate's putting out the new album. Are you guys self-releasing it? And what kind of like physical copies do you plan on having?
we're gonna self-release it. And we should have CDs. So we're when is this gonna get is this gonna get posted later today?
No, no, we're probably in like a week.
Okay, cool. We'll have launched a pre-order for the album by the time this comes out. So it's actually dropping tomorrow, which will be Friday,
Oh,
the
cool.
25th or 6th, or I think 6th.
26th.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. I gotta look at my
So, yeah,
calendar to be
should
like,
be
what day is it?
right, yeah.
Well, cool. Tag me when you guys put that out.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Tag me, I'll put it up. What's the
Three
anticipated?
songs out too from that album.
Okay.
The last single will be from it. And we dropped two more since the fall. We dropped a song called Realm Seeker and then another one, Shapeshifters Among Us. So we got three songs out. Yeah, we got a bunch more. It's a longer album. It's like 10 songs and like two interludes. So it's like almost an hour long. So
Hell yeah.
should be a lot to listen to,
Yeah,
hopefully.
it's not like a little 100 song, 25-minute grind album.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah.
Um,
I don't think we could write it. I don't think we could get a song under like, a minute or whatever.
no, that's wild.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. So when do you guys anticipate the album coming out?
It's gonna drop in May.
Okay. Your birthday's in May? Is that it?
No, my birthday's in March.
S Someone
We'll actually
else
be on the
on the road.
my birthday on one of those shows, so
Hell
that'll be
yeah.
cool.
Where at?
I don't know which one specifically. It's the 9th, so it'll be either Ohio, Lansing, or Indianapolis. So
Okay.
one of those places.
Well, I'll buy you a beer for your birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Well, so playing with both bands, how long have you played with both bands?
um, my first like longer tour with Casket Robbery was last October. Most recent past one, the one before. But I joined like that summer, and then for Illusion of Fate, I joined earlier that winter. So it's been about
About 2 years.
yeah, it's been about almost 2 years for both bands. Illusion of Fate's about to be, I think, three now. In Casper every 2.5 or two. I don't know. It's been two. It's gone by really really fast. Like touring and stuff. Like because then I come home and I try to work a lot to try to save up money so I can go back out on the road and you know, and then I come back and then just starts over really quick. So, but I like it. Like it's kind of like good to be when time's passing by fast. Like it usually means like you're in the moment of what you're doing. So
For
I
sure.
usually feel best when I'm not like consciously thinking, about like all the future and stuff you have going on.
Uh, I'm exact opposite.
I guess
All I think about tomorrow and what's coming in the future. Like I try to
I'll
be a
do it. I just try not. You know what I mean? I feel
yeah,
best when I don't. Like
yeah,
drums. I'm like frantically practicing, trying to prepare for tomorrow. But with like I don't know. It's just like I don't know. Just playing drums always feels like I'm like doing the thing I would want to spend. It just feels like I'm spending my time the right way, I guess. So it makes it
Hell
go by
yeah.
fast.
That's good shit. So since you've played with both bands, what moments for you have been just super memorable that you're like, man, this is I never thought I'd hit this, plat or this peak right here.
So it's honestly been several times. I'm happy to say that I've had that like feeling before. I will say the first one was when I did the Illusion of Fate. When I joined Illusion of Fate, I'd never played a show outside of Michigan before in my life. The furthest I'd played, well, I guess I played in Ludington, which is like 4 hours from Detroit, but it's in northern Michigan.
Hmm.
So it's kind of far, I guess. And then besides that was like Grand Rapids, Lansing. And I wanted to, go out and play if I could. When I joined Illusion of Fate, I just remember like the deal was I had we had 2 days of rehearsal and then we had 3 shows in a weekend, just back to back to back. So I had to come like super ready to, you know what I mean? Basically, like, hey, we have to be ready to play like from the second we all get together. Um, so I just remember feeling really nervous, like driving up by myself, with all my drums like stuffed in my car, and just thinking like these guys are cool because I also have to stay with them. Like I've never met them before. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm crashing at these guys' houses. And so being really nervous. And then we literally like within the first 5 minutes of hanging out, I was like, oh, it's gonna be all right. Like these guys are reminded me of like they just seemed the friends I guess I already had, like in a good, they just reminded me of my other friends in a good way. Not
Yeah.
that they're like exactly the same, but they just reminded me of like,
There's
oh, this
that
is like how me and like this is the dynamic. We're all
the
just goofing around and stuff, nerding out about metal.
the f-
So
the familiarity.
yeah, it just felt like we were like friends forever, like right from the start. So it was super. I just instantly felt better. And then we played Milwaukee, Madison, and then the last one was Detroit. Well, we technically played at Parts and Labor in Melvindale, but and that was like the first moment. Like I just remember like after like they left, and I'm just like standing in my apartment alone. I'm just like, holy shit! Like I went all the way out to fucking Wisconsin, like met up with these guys, like joined the band like that. We started playing shows like that. The shows were really awesome too. So you know what I mean? I was like, holy shit, like I think I can maybe actually do this. And then that was really cool. That first show we played, I got food poisoning right before we're about to play.
Oh,
And our guitarist Hayden, he's trying to like hype me up before the show. He's like, yeah, man, like you ready to play our first show? Like I'm so excited, and stuff. And I'm like I feel like I should be excited, dude. Like I'm not trying to be a bummer, but I feel weird right now. I don't know what's going on. And we're playing the show, and like within like the first 2 songs, I'm like, dude, I am winded. Like, what's going on? I just felt like so gassed so fast. And then like a couple songs more go by. I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna fucking puke. Like, I think I'm getting sick. And like I'm playing with my eyes closed, trying to like, not look at the lights and like trying not to headbang and stuff because I'm feeling like that like saliva in your mouth when you're about to puke,
oh
and I'm
yeah.
trying really hard not to. I had to run off stage and vomit outside the venue uh middle of our set, like to all the amps are like surrounding the kit. I'm like, dude, move your amp. And I like shove the amp aside, run outside, and people are like running behind me, like, what the fuck is he doing? And then I just vomit everywhere outside. It was horrible. I played the last song, uh, and then actually got this all on video too. We're gonna post it as part of the promotion for the album. I've been sitting on this video since the first show we ever played.
Hell yeah.
Uh, but and so like you can see me like puke and then get on the kit and then play like one of our fastest songs.
That's
And
who
like
else did that? There was a Flesh God Apocalypse, maybe?
yeah, it was that dude. And you can see Krim, who's like, the drummer of Septic Flesh, like holding this. He's puking while
While
playing. I did
playing.
not do that. Yeah. I was like scoping out where I could puke if I had to. I was like, oh, I could maybe like just puke over my shoulder real quick, like, but luckily when it hit me, it was between songs. Uh, but eh, so getting home and like getting over that, and then like just toughing it out, and then all the shows still going really well and shit, and then it's all just gelling super well. We literally played all the songs like first time through, like the whole set, like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4 after Nice to Meet You, and then just whole set all the way through. Like,
Hell
so
yeah.
it went like good right from the jump. So I don't know, there's just good feeling to that. That was a really good one. That was like the first my first time with Illusion. And funny enough, Saturday, so that gig was on a Friday, and then we played the next day in Madison. We played with at the Brian's other band, Casket Robbery, and I like met Corey, Megan, and Eric, their old drummer and everything, and was hanging out with them for a little while and stuff. Not thinking, other than like, oh, these guys are nice, and then like watching their band and being like, damn, okay, like those guys are sick.
Yeah.
And not too long after, it was like, hey, we want a drummer that's trying to tour. So, would you be interested? And then I joined Casket Robbery. We did a camping festival and like a little mini weekend that led into actually Michigan Metal Fest, my first run with Casket Robbery. That one was really nerve wracking too, because I never played a show like the size of Michigan Metal Fest before. And it was like, hey, this is going to be our first run together. I did a tryout like before. It wasn't like Illusion where it was like, hey, nice to meet you. We got these shows. Are you ready to go? It was
Yeah.
like, hey, let's do a tryout. I did the tryout. They're like, cool, sounds good. You're in, kind of thing. We're going to schedule like a little weekend run thing into Michigan Metal Fest. And then Michigan Metal Fest, our stage like flooded. So it wasn't safe with all the cords and stuff and with the gear. So they ended up having to shut that stage down because of the weather. But
Damn.
that was a cool one too, because I remember that was like the first taste I got for like sleeping in like the van and stuff like that. And just like, oh, okay, we're just gonna pull up to a Walmart or something, sleep for like 3 hours, and then like just go to the show and just have to like rip that shit like we're not, exhausted and stuff. So I don't know. It just was like a that was like a, oh, I could do this too kind of you know what I mean? Like I can grind
Yeah.
this out kind of thing. And just like the first, shows with Casket Robbery and stuff was exciting. We played a cool festival in northern Wisconsin called Project Mayhem uh, that year, and then we also played it again this past year, and so did Illusion of Fate. That was a really fun one because came out on that run for just like a couple of the weekends, and then me and her did like a mini vacation between like back to back weekend runs. So that was
Hell yeah.
cool. Uh, yeah, we just like drank a shit ton of beer and just had an awesome time, hanging out with our friends, bands and stuff. And the show went really well and stuff. So that
That's the
was
best.
cool.
I think that's the best thing about festivals is just hanging out with your friends and, having
Absolutely.
your beers and weed or whatever, whatever you're
Yeah. Oh,
into,
for sure. Yeah.
you
Lots
know.
of weed for sure.
Yeah.
but,
So
sorry,
what
go
kind
ahead.
of time what kind of timeline is the Casket Robbery album on?
We're trying to like get it done like basically as soon as possible, but we're not sure exactly like when that will be like released in terms of like if we try to release it through someone or try to release it ourselves or whatnot. So I'm not really 100% sure exactly. We did our
Okay.
last one on Blood Blast. I think we do that again, but I don't know. We haven't really like thought of that yet. But it will take like inevitably like probably slightly longer once we have to schedule it. Then like it'll take us to finish it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but we're trying to go as fast as possible to get it out as soon as possible because we're really just trying to like hard. I guess we're trying to get on the road, put out music, do the thing. So
Well, you've got, I
um,
think both bands right now have got really good momentum. Just you got to keep plugging away at it.
yeah, it feels like that for sure. Good to hear that. It seems like things have been go like just kind of slowly picking up, building up steam. So we don't want to lose the momentum. So we're just trying to keep our foot on the gas, I guess.
Yeah, you might at Milwaukee Metal Fest, you might pose to good old Josta about putting out the new Casket album. Like, hey dude,
Oh man, that'd be sweet. Yeah.
yeah. Like what's his label?
Yeah.
Stillborn?
Something like that. I'm not 100% sure though.
Yeah.
But
Uh, something, right? Just keep plugging away. I think,
yeah.
you know, you I would anticipate right by the end of the year, you guys will have even more momentum than you have now.
Yeah, I think so with the tours we're gonna do and the like festivals we're gonna play and whatnot. And hopefully we can have maybe like, a couple singles out or something if the album's not out by.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good.
Hell
It should
yeah.
be a fun year. My calendar's already looking. It makes me like kind of afraid to look at. I'm like, this is like, how am I going to afford all these shows? But also, I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. So
Yeah. Like I'm doing the
it's like
thing.
right, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Fun.
now you're friends with Tony Piccoli too, right?
Oh yeah, me and Tony actually did a little band together called Drag Beneath um, with my friend. I don't know if you know Kevin Warble. He's in Lady Luna and the Devil.
Mm-mm.
It's like a doom band, and then Don Durr. He's in Temple of Void and does sound for a lot of bands on tours and stuff. He just did that Suffocation tour. He's done Morbid Angel and stuff. Uh, so we did like a death grind sort of album. We released it right when COVID happened. Wah wah wah, and then we kind of never did anything else. We played like one show. We played the Rust Fest at Sanctuary. We did the first one, and that was cool. Those songs were really fast. Basically, like the whole point of the thing was like Tony's obviously got ISD, and I love
Yeah.
ISD. They're one of my favorite Michigan bands. I just that kind of style prog metal is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And but he just was like, "Hey, I just want to write some like heavy, crazy shit." And I was like, "Cool." I was like in a prog tech death sort of band. I was like, I just want to play something that's super fast, but like straight ahead, kind of thing. So he was kind of having the similar sort of feeling. Kevin wanted to try death metal vocals, and you know, John was down to play bass, and so
That's
that's pretty
right.
much that.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it was cool. It was fun. Sucks that like the timing of it was so. I had 3 albums come out within. I think it was like February, March, April, or it was like March and 2 in April of 2020.
Oh
I
shit.
had a Pickaxe Preacher album come out. Me and Kyle's old band Pyrrhic had our album come out, and I had that Drag Beneath album come out, and then I just like basically had to sit on my hands for however long it was till we could play shows again. And 2 of those bands didn't even make it to playing shows. Well, I guess Drag Beneath played one show. That was it, but it was the plan of that was never to like go
Yeah, it was
crazy
just
with
kind
it.
of a fun thing.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I the one thing I think we all hated about COVID was the lack of live music.
yeah, absolutely. I remember though those first few shows back with Pickaxe Preacher for us were just like absolutely epic. Uh, I don't know. We just like everyone was so hungry to see a show, that it
Yeah.
it just like lined up perfectly. So
Yeah, I remember when
we
they
had some really good ones.
started like when shows started getting announced, I was like, all right, cool. All my money is going to live music. My
Right. Yeah.
my my wife, she laughs at me because every time I go to a show, I'm like, okay, I've got to I'm gonna buy tickets, and I don't just buy tickets for me and a couple of people, right? Like I think the last Battlecross show, I bought 30 tickets or
Oh,
yeah, something
damn.
ridiculous. And then I was just like, yeah, you want to go? You should go. I've never seen them. Well, come on, you got to go,
Yeah, you're
right?
going now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go have a good time. And and then I get to the show and I'm like, t-shirts, right? Oh, they have vinyl. I'm buying vinyl. What, shit, you got a bag I could throw all this shit in? Uh,
Dude, it's people like you that like make the metal world literally go round. Like sometimes we'll play a show on tour and it's like there's 5 people there and there's a guy like you where he comes up and he's like, "Hey, that shirt's cool. That shirt's cool. I'll take the CD. Is that a patch? I'll take that. I'll get some stickers, whatever." You know what I mean? And they get like a bunch of stuff, and we're like, holy shit, you know. And it's like, it doesn't matter that only 5 people were there, because one guy just, like, you know what I mean, drastically changed our merch's outlook for the night.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I growing up, it was always for me, it was always about going to see the band and having the experience. And my whole outlook is if I'm not there supporting the band and spending money with the band, why are they going to keep going? Right? Well, shit, if it's a good band, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
you
you have the right mindset in thinking that, because like it just makes it possible to do. You know what I mean? Even like some bands probably would like to tour, but it's like, hey, every time we tour, we go in the hole this amount. Can we afford to do that? You know, that eventually you're just going to run your shin to the ground.
yeah.
So
Well, and then you've got
you do have
bands
to take losses, though. I feel like sometimes too. Like that is definitely
for
like
sure.
a reality, and it's a risk every time, I guess. But you know, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
I just had a conversation with Chris Pervelis from Internal Bleeding, and it
oh,
was,
nice.
it was getting older. I mean, Internal Bleeding's been what they started in 91, so 33 years
Yeah,
this year, right? And
yeah,
they were never, right, one of those huge bands that toured the world and totally lived off that. But as you I guess when you're younger, you get out and you do those, you do all those shows where you're like, oh, it's cool, right? Two people, that's fine. You always look for that one guy who's going to make the night great,
sure.
just super into it. But then after so many years, you're like, all right, cool. We just got to pick and choose our shows.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
really makes sense
absolutely.
for us.
Yeah, for sure. It is, I guess, like at a certain point in your life, probably easier to take like a risk too. You know what I mean? Like, so, and internal bleeding too, like, you know, have like a real name, like they're, you know, slam OGs. So they kind of
Yeah.
can, you know, I'm sure like be a little choosier, and they're not going to like, everyone's not going to forget about internal bleeding overnight, you know?
No, not at all.
They don't have
Well,
to, yeah, they don't have to like spam our attention. You know, you know, everyone knows they exist.
yeah. Well, and good for them. The
Oh yeah, no, definitely worthy.
last couple of years have been really good for them, bringing them growing their fan base and what have you. And I think, and I say them, but I see a lot of smaller bands now touring, doing things that 20 or 30 years ago would have never even attempted getting on the road and doing stuff,
Sure.
which is, it's great for live music and a lot of,
Yeah.
dive bars and what have you.
Yeah, I wish honestly more bands would go on the road. Like, I have a lot of friends in bands where I'm like, you know, I try to talk them into like going on the road. I'm like, you guys are fucking good. Like, you know, you guys are good enough to go on the road. You know, if you go around, you kind of see, you know, there's talent truly everywhere. You know what I mean? Uh, you know, if you feel like your band's good in your area, you know, go out there and go to other areas. You'll probably do good there too. Or
Yeah.
I will say also, sometimes in your own area, people might not fuck with you as much as if you go somewhere else. It's very stupid, but I 100% believe it adds like legitimacy to where, like, if you're coming from out of town, people just take your band more seriously. They're like, oh, you're not a local band, even if a local band could be, you know what I mean? Like, we're a local to somewhere, we're just not local to here. But if
Yeah.
that makes us a real band in your eyes, then cool. And then hopefully they like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully they like the music. But it's just a weird thing, but sometimes that's a thing. And I've talked with other bands too, where, you know, they'll be from a certain area, but they'll do better, you know, in other areas and stuff like that.
Well, you see it. I mean, hell, it's been going on for years. You see a lot of bands, like even US based bands that they don't play in the US anymore. All of their shows, everything they do is out of, you know, over in Europe or, Japan
Right.
or whatever it is, which is wild because you go to this other country or this other place and people are like, "Oh, dude, your band is so great." And then you're at home and people are like, "Who the hell are you? Get out of my way. Move. I don't, I don't want to fuck with you."
Right. Yeah. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's a whole thing. It's just like a perception thing, which is really stupid. But I think what it is too is like, if you get obviously a lot of people like in the metal scene are musicians themselves, so I think there's like if you see someone who's like local, they're kind of like trying to like size you up, sort of like how do they compare to my band, and we're all biased, right? We all like probably want our band best band or whatever, like, so I think it's like there's like an element of like, oh, they don't do this and that, so they're not as good. But is any of that criticism valid? Maybe not. Where
Well,
it's if like they're like, oh, this band's from far away, they're like, oh wow, and then they don't like think, they're not like sizing themselves up, they like look at that as something different.
yeah, that's fair. But I think, it's most industries, right? If everyone could come together and cross promote and really just push people and, hype them up and keep going, I think it would be, a lot better instead of going out there and going, oh, I'm a better drummer or I'm better this or, whatever it
Right,
is.
right, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, uh, who was it? Oh, I was literally talking to uh Mike DeLeon, who played guitar in what the hell? Oh, he played guitar in Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, and now he's in
Oh, nice.
Soulfly. And that's what he said. He said that his whole group, right? Everyone is just like, dude, go do it, right? Like when Kerry King's band got announced, he said, dude, I'm sitting there texting with Kerry, and it's so funny that he played um he played Slayer's last show with Phil, right?
uh,
He's gonna play Kerry King's first show. Like I think
uh
I, I think it's Welcome to Rockville. So to have that, and they're all just hyping each other up all the time. So
yeah, that's the way it should be. I genuinely believe like all ships rise with the tide kind of thing. I get like I guess some industries are competitive, and that's probably not true. Like I guess if you're a athlete, like someone's got to lose, right? But with music, especially like in underground music, like we're all kind of building like the overall popularity of metal collectively. Like,
yeah.
so if another band like gets more fans, that's going to lead them to our band. If we get more fans, that'll lead them to someone else's band. You know what I mean? Uh, I think part of the problem is too is people are like just naturally competitive. Like I know I'm a competitive person.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I will admit if I see a drummer going up and they're smoking that shit, that makes me want to practice. I'm like, damn, like I want to get like on some of that shit, or like do something faster or crazier or whatever. But like what people have a that's feel like that's healthy, that's fine. But what the problem is when people feel insecure and then they try to talk shit like, oh, this drummer's not good because he does something that I want to do and wish I could do and I can't do it, so now I'm going to talk shit. Like that's not, what I mean, that's not helpful at all.
No,
um
but I think in
should be a
those
positive sort of feeling, I guess.
absolutely. Yeah, and in those scenarios, right? Like I just I don't know, watched a video or read something because, I'm always doing something. The people who are hating on you are not the people who are doing better than you in any way, right? Like it's the people who
That,
aren't,
yeah, I guess that makes, yeah, I never thought about that. That usually is true. Yeah.
they're not doing as good. Just like you just pointed out, right? Like, oh, I do, someone does something a little bit better. Well, shit, learn from it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
damn, that was awesome. Show me how to, swivel or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, you're going to become a better player yourself. That person's you're probably going to become friends with because you're going to start talking with them about drums or whatever, guitar, whatever your instrument is. And, then you guys are going to be buddies. You're going to be a better drummer. You know, collective like drum scene is better off. Like,
Yeah.
there's more good drummers. Like,
Yeah. I think it's pretty fantastic to have those conversations, especially when
absolutely.
you go out on the road and you got a you got a local opener. Well, shit. Sometimes they're not so good. Sometimes they're fucking fabulous.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And you're like,
Yeah.
dude, how did you, right, do that? Because
Right,
I
right.
want to learn that.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
okay, you got a lot going on with Illusion of Fate, Casket Robbery. Uh, I'm excited to hear all of the new stuff from both bands. Uh, I'm I'm gonna dig into Illusion of Fate a little bit more because
Sweet.
I do have my like I've listened a little bit. I've dug into Casket Robbery a lot more though. So you
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
um, I I I do like some black metal though. So
Sweet.
let's see what we can do there.
Yeah.
Um, favorite like musician that you have met that has just been mind blowing. Like, man, that was a really fucking cool experience.
Um.
And I say that does
Oh
not
man.
have to be someone famous, right? It could just be,
Right. I've met I don't know. I feel like I've met a lot of people. One interaction I have that like kind of stands out in my mind is just like a funny one. Is I remember Kyle and I and actually Paul from Nethergate was there too, and Eric from Kyle's old band Carnus Mortalis. He was in Manic Outburst, but you probably know all those guys.
yep.
But
Well, I know who they are. Yeah.
yeah, and we went to see Rivers of Nile in Toledo, and I remember me and Kyle were smoking with Rivers of Nile before like their set or whatever, and I just remember being so stoned, like, and I smoke a fair amount, so I guess I have a high tolerance, if you will. And just watching them rips like, and I'm just thinking like, there's no way they're about to go up there right now and just like kill that shit with like how baked, you know what I mean? Like I just smoked with them. I know how stoned you are because I'm standing here just as stoned, and then just watching them do it, like just realizing how automatic it is for like people like that are on that level. I guess I was just like, holy fucking shit! Like you could, you know what I mean? Like you could wake these guys like out of their sleep, kick them in their balls, and like sit them on the kit, and he could rip that shit in pain. Like like there's nothing you could do to like
Well,
stop that.
dude,
You
and
know?
Jared's a fucking beast behind that kit.
Yeah, he's super clean.
Yeah.
So
We took back before Lorna Shore had Will, it was Rivers and Lorna Shore on tour and they came to Louisville and there was a strip club that had live shows. So like it, yeah, uh
cool.
it was so funny. So I took my daughter to a strip club so we could go watch the bands and it like half the club was was live show, half the club was naked ass, and we're there watching a band and here come these strippers just like do 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 do.
That's
I'm
like
like,
some Las Vegas shit right there.
dude, it was so fucking weird. And I was there with my wife and daughter, and I'm like, bless. I probably have some pictures
Like,
from
how did I pull this off?
yeah, yeah, this is weird. What the
Impressive.
hell? I got some pictures with Bailey and Jared, and I think a couple of the guys from Lorna Shore also,
Sick.
which
Was that the one that Rivers was opening for Lorna Shore on the like Pain Remains tour or something like that? Or
no,
one of the? I know they did a few of those.
no, it was before Pain Remains because they didn't do Pain
Okay.
Remains until they had Will.
Oh, it was before. Okay,
Yeah, it was
nice.
before they had Will. Um,
Yeah, I saw them with Tom on a Summer Slaughter. I think in like or some shit. I think I want to say. I might be wrong about that, but I think I saw them. I liked their original vocalist Tom a lot. I Will's Nelson vocalist too, but
yeah,
I don't know. I thought Tom had really unique sounding vocals for sure too.
for sure. And it was so it was after Owls came out with River, and it was I don't know. I went because I was a big River fan, and then that's actually
Yeah.
where I found Lorna Shore, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
okay, like that's cool. And then probably a year or two later, Will joined, and they just fucking
Blew
exploded.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
that, I just caught the well, I didn't just. It was middle of last year. Mastodon, Gojira, and Lorna Shore, which
Oh
was
yeah, I saw that tour coming through. I didn't see it. I wish I did.
Yeah, it was a fucking great tour.
Lorna Shore is like a perfect example of like what we were talking about earlier, where like a deathcore band like breaks like the ceiling of like how successful you can be as a deathcore band. Then everyone just goes and shits on them when like they're a good band, you know?
Yeah.
So I get like there's like the person who like just discovered deathcore literally yesterday that's like a huge Lorna Shore fan now, and it's like okay, like maybe like if you've been around the scene for a while, like that's kind of annoying, but like you should show that person like, hey, Lorna Shore is cool, and like here's another cool band. You know what I mean? Like
Well, and
I
then,
don't know.
from a fan's perspective, um, people shit on Lorna Shore, Metallica, right? All these bands, but the reality is like shit as a fan, I want you to be successful. I want you
Right?
to, I want you to
Yeah,
make money and can want to continue to play music because
absolutely.
shit, that's what keeps me going. This is why
Yeah,
I have these conversations because man, I just fucking
yeah,
love music,
yeah.
you know?
And to like for like people who are musicians, it's like isn't the idea that Lorna Shore's out there like playing super heavy music and making like probably like more money than any deathcore has made like band has made on their like shows anyway, like isn't that like kind of like a good like a sign of hope, like that it's
Yeah.
possible, like doesn't that set all of our bands up to like possibly reach a bigger audience like the further they go, so I don't know why. Yeah, I guess like the joke is like, oh, Lorna Shore is my favorite black metal band, but it's like okay, but whatever, like I've
Yeah.
not actually, I don't know if I've ever actually seen someone say that like seriously.
No, I don't.
I like to say it as a joke at Illusion of Fate shows because it's bad,
Uh, People are like, "What the fuck? They're not black metal." Blah, 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 blah. Like, come on. You gotta have fun with it. Um,
yeah,
all right. What is your next show that you have lined up?
it'll be those March shows for Illusion of Fate. I do a like a regular like Sunday gospel church gig when I'm in town, not on tour. So I'll play every Sunday when I'm not on the road there. And then I also try to like go to like local like jazz jams where you can like sit in with the band and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll probably play some of those and some church gigs, but too
Hell yeah.
not like a, I don't know, nothing where I have to move a drum set. So that's good.
That's it's a lot less work for sure. Um,
Yeah, for
do you,
sure.
do you know the dates off the top of your head for those March runs?
It's I don't know the dates 100%, but I know it's like the first 2 weekends of March. So I think
Okay.
it's like the 8th, ninth, and 10th, and then maybe like the first, second, and third or something like that.
Okay. Well, cool.
Um,
I'm gonna,
I'll message you the flyer for it.
hell yeah. I'll I'll
So
post it on my socials and
sweet, thank you.
yeah, no worries. And then look forward to seeing you on the road. I am
Yeah,
it's
sounds like I'll be seeing you in Indy, so that'll be cool.
yeah, that's the
And
plan.
Yotuma's really awesome too. If you're not familiar with those guys,
I'm not.
uh, they're they really kill it. So I
Hell
don't know.
yeah,
I think you'll dig them. So if you can get there, definitely try to be hanging around when they play.
for sure. Yeah, well, when I go to a show, I want to see as many bands as possible because you never know, right? Like that's how I
Yeah,
found
no, for sure.
Casket Robbery with the Convalescence, and then
Sweet,
shit, that's how I found Battlecross playing with God Forbid when they were coming off of Trespass America.
nice, nice.
So that's life. All right. Austin, I'm gonna thank you for taking time out of your day to come hang out with me. Um,
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
hell yeah. I gotta get to work and go make some money so I can keep doing shit like this.
Yeah, same.
Right on. Well, dude,
Sounds
have a
good.
great
Well, have
day.
a good day at work. Thank you.
Thanks.
You too.
Thanks. See you, bro.